What's going on, y'all? This is Sam Thory, and today we are going through phase 4 of our multi-tenant LMS system using Payload 3 and Next 15. Today we're going to do a lot with ShadCN and some other animation libraries like Magic UI, Aceternity, Framer Motion. So far in our first 3 phases, we've built out a lot of our different collections in Payload. As you can see here, this is what we initially set out with, that we built with Cursor and ChatGPT. And we have all these different collections defined and all of their relationships to each other defined. At the top here, we have tenants, and we have courses underneath that, and we have users over here. And we have all these different things that relate to users and courses and how the courses relate to the users and everything. All of that is in our admin dashboard, which we really haven't done any customization yet to, but that's fine. We have all of our collections defined. We can add, edit, delete all of our CRUD operations. So we're looking pretty good. What we want to do now, and if we go back to our overall guide, if you've been following along, you'll know that we've broken our project down into 9 phases based off of an outline that we created with ChatGPT. We then took it into Cursor to get more technical with it. And then we've been checking again and again against Cursor and ChatGPT just to make sure that everything is right. We've definitely run into a lot of issues with Cursor. That is going to happen. We're still like the guinea pigs of all of these generative AI tools, so they're definitely not perfect. I had somebody reach out through a comment on the last video mentioning that we do not need to have any kind of DB files. So we had basically our schemas defined for each one of our collections for Drizzle. It's not necessary with Payload, and I appreciate whoever that made that comment. We fixed that up, removed that completely, and now we just have our collections here. So we're looking good. And then also, I think he mentioned using the local API for some of our interactions, which we've also fixed up. And those are in our lib. So we have achievements where we're using local API here from Payload. So everything's looking good. What we want to do now, if we go to our phase 4 outline, we're going to get started on some of the front end stuff. So in this one, if we just look at the different headers, we're going to set up a lot of UI dependencies. So that's going to be installing a ton of different components for ShadCN, different Aceternity components, etc. So you see the next step is the install animation libraries. We'll do some configuration with Tailwind and the tailwind.config. Then in our enhanced components, so we're going to create some, let's see, import Aceternity components. So this is just more of the same, sorry. Let's see, enhanced page components. Now we're going into the individual pages. So we're going to create a login page where we're going to be using a lot of these different components. Likely this code is not 100% correct, so we're going to take it slow with it, especially Cursor's been causing some issues. We might want to take the steering wheel a little bit more than we have, and that's fine. We're going to create a student dashboard, and you have this all defined here. Again, it will need tweaking. And then we have a course viewer. So we'll have a dynamic route based off of the course ID, and we're pulling in all of this information here. And then that's it. So then in the next one, we're going to go through creating a quiz interface with animated feedback, assignment submission UI, discussion forums with real-time animation, ad notification system, enhanced course content viewer with Aceternity's page transition. So again, I think phase 4, phase 5 will be mainly front-end integration kind of stuff. Oh, nope. This, let me correct that. This is some things that I'll do kind of off camera. I was misreading my own notes there, so that's fine. The next step, phase 5, what we'll do in the next one will be analytics and reporting. So we'll be setting up some real-time tracking, interactive dashboards, custom report generation, data export capabilities, role-based analytics. So that'll be fun. But for this one, Let's go back to this top and just go through step by step what we're going to do here. First, we want to install ShadCN, so we're going to do this right here. I can take this guy. I'll open up a new terminal, make it a little bit bigger for y'all. Boop. Oh, there we go. Drop this in. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I think I just lost the P in the front. What's happening here? All right, back on track. I had to pause it for just a second because we were having an error when we were trying to initialize ShadCN. Just a few things to note. Make sure that you have Tailwind all the way set up before this. Make sure that you have a main layout file under your app, and then you'll have individual layout files for each of your parenthesed folders here, because you're going to have a different layout for each section, right? So we'll create those. We already have one for the payload admin. We'll do one for the dashboard and for auth as well. And then you want to make sure you have a globals.css where you're pulling these in. Once you do that, it should be good to go. So we go ahead and run pnpm dlx ShadCN at latest init, and we can pick which style we want. We'll go with New York, and we'll go with neutral, and yes. Okay, that creates all of these for us, which is great. And we can take a look here. We have components.json is created. The icon library, you can change these. Here we go. We have all of this set up for us now. All that is created by ShadCN when you run that command. So that's good. Now we're going to take a big chunk. So if we look at this guy here, we are going to bring in all of these components individually, and they should drop into our components UI. If it doesn't, we might need to move them. That's okay. It'll also add possibly some stuff to our tailwind.config. So we'll copy this and drop this in here. Oops, did I not copy it? Oh, no, sorry. Okay, all of these are added, and it looks like they did add them in the correct place. That's great. So if we go through these, the way that ShadCN works is that you're going to get the entire component just right into your code base, and you can make updates to these, but they are also really extendable. So the idea is that you don't really want to update these files as much, but just extend them, maybe create a new button component on top of that using ShadCN, and mess with it from there. A lot of different ways you can do it. We have all these now, so that's a big chunk of our step done there. Go here. We're going to install some animation libraries. So let's take this one at a time, just in case it didn't get the right stuff. We're doing framer motion, legend app / motion, form kit / auto animate. Oh boy, looks like that's all good. Let's keep going. We're getting vol, sonar, and CMDK. Cool. And we're going to add some extensions for Tailwind, class variants, authority, CDA, Tailwind merge, and the animate library for Tailwind. Probably already have that in there, but that's okay. Looking good. This is not correct at all, I know, but we can go to the documentation. I think I might have it saved. And let's look at, I guess, components, maybe install. Yeah, we should have already done all of this. The ShadCN adding, that's good. Okay, yeah, there's no initialization for Aceternity. There's no overall installation. Gonna be similar to how ShadCN works, so we'll add the components individually there. So there's some configuration it's asking us to do here. I think I'm going to skip this actually, just define this based off of what we need, because I don't want it to go too far. Add this here, and yeah, I can just add this entire thing here. Okay, let's see if we need anything else from that real quick. That should be fine. I can define a lot of that. So the animation stuff we'll need to do per component for sure. So when we add all of these, which is not how we import from Aceternity, so we're gonna have to individually add these. We'll do it fairly quickly here. So let's go through animated card, find that here. So let me just show you how to do a couple of these with Aceternity, and then I'll do the rest off camera. I'll pause it and we'll get a bunch of them in there because it'll end up taking quite a bit of time on camera. For like background beams, what we're gonna do is if we go over to the documentation, we have background beams. We click on the CLI installation. First step we'll do is this right here where we'll get PNPM and install it. So we do a DLX ShadCN at latest add, and then it hits the URL for this component from Aceternity. And it takes a second. Okay, and we have it here. But with this one, there's some extra steps. There's not always extra steps, but you'll see for each one. First thing, we actually need to add this here. And do I need the default theme? I think I do actually, so I'll take that as well. And we'll go over our tailwind all the way up at the top, add that in. Okay, good so far. For the plugins, we'll add this to the list because we already have some right in the beginning. And we also add this function right here at the end. Could be at the top too, it's fine. Okay, should be good to go with that component. And let's just do one more if we go back to the list. Floating navbar, let's see if we have that. Floating navbar right here. And we'll go to CLI instructions. You can see this one's much simpler. There's no extra tailwind config steps. And just one more, sparkles, if we have that. Sparkles. And this one again is very simple. It's just adding, okay, generate effect. And we'll just do one more, do the typewriter effect while that is going. Add it right here. Most of these you can see are pretty easy. Okay, I'll add these next 7 or 8 of them that we have left while we're paused, and I'll come right back. All right, we're back and we have everything installed from Aceternity. And we're just gearing up to go ahead and create this login page now. So went ahead and created a login folder here in auth. I just sneezed, sorry. I created a page.tsx. There's nothing in it, but I started working on a prompt in Composer using agent. Make sure that we're using agent. This is now default though, so that's good. This is a context building prompt right here. We are saying that we're working on phase 4, which we outline in phase4.md, the markdown file, and all of the docs are in that folder, and I wanted to go ahead and take a look at those to make sure it understands. Giving it the basis here that we're creating a login page with on page.tsx, and we should be using the components that we've added in the UI folder. So we have all these components, and especially the ones that are animated. So hopefully it can distinguish which ones are and are not. We'll see. Beyond that, I told it to reference payload documentation, make sure that it's using a local API from payload, the internet for the most up-to-date information, and I gave it a from payload as an example for multi-tenant. Hopefully it can use that as a guide, but let's see what it comes up with here, and we may need to make some adjustments. Okay, it's doing some work here. Let's see here. It's going to help us create a modern animated login page using Payload's authentication system and our UI components. Breaking down into steps, search for relevant code patterns. Good. Based on search results, it's going to create this actions.ts file. Okay. Data.get the, okay, looks good. Create the login form component. Do have a few here. This should be from payload, I think. Actually, I'll let it continue working here. I don't want to mess with it too much because it is running errors. Okay, utility file. A lot of back and forth with the errors here. Let's see what we ended up with. I bet you we still got errors. Didn't accept. You can always go back, but okay, that one's in now. That's fine. Thing looks potentially good. Let's look at the, where did I put that action folder? Here we go. Nope. Did it create a new one? Oh, actions.ts. Okay, gotcha. Okay, we have this same, we'll hit an accept here. That should be fine. It's just cursor not picking it up. Okay, we'll pass that into cursor. Okay, we had a quick fix there. Should be good. We have our login form, which we have an error on. Let's see this. Pass this in as well. Okay, now we do have this running at localhost 3001, I believe. Let's see if we have anything useful yet, or if we're still struggling along. It's not going to be on the admin page, but that's okay. I just want to see if we'll catch any errors. We don't automatically. Okay, we have an error on the client side here now. I'm going to go ahead and pass this in. Oh no, that's not right. Where is this coming from? Payload? No. I don't believe that this is even necessary. So we're going to go back here to the actions, and this get payload, we're going to just pull that straight from payload. There we go. All right. After going back and forth with cursor and going in the docs quite a bit, we got this. It is beautiful, y'all. Look at these animations. I'm kidding, of course. It is a starter. We're working, and if we hit the sign in, it's going to take us to the student page, I believe. Yeah. We don't have yet. We're going to create that. We may create that off camera given how much time this has taken so far. So let's just go through what we have so far for this login, and I'll make everything a little bit more focused on the code. So just to let you know what happened with cursor, it tried to create a payload.ts file, which we do not need. It was essentially recreating the function get payload. You could have, just to simplify the code, because every time we're using it right now, we're calling in get payload and passing in the config. Fine. At the outer layer of what we did, we have this page.tsx where we are setting our metadata. So this is being pulled. Next.js just reads this as metadata, like it automatically. If you name this function metadata, it'll know. And then we have the TypeScript object for metadata, which helps us out. We have a little function here to get the user, where we're using the get payload local API. Headers, or waiting for the headers. Payload.auth, passing in the headers. We have a login page where we're getting that user from that function. And if the user, we have different roles, it'll show different things. So for that user, we were going to the student page, which is good. Basic JSX here, we're using the background beams from Aceternity and text generate effect for the welcome back. Then we go into our login form, where this is a fairly simple form, email, password, setting our, we're using use action state from React. Let's see. We have our submit button where we have the use form status. Where are we getting that from React DOM? Okay. So a lot of these features with React 19, Next 15 reduce the need to use something like React hook form. We have that kind of built in. And we also have server actions and everything else now. So things are looking better for us as developers, website developers. We have this login form. And then we have our action, and this is the login function, which I assume we use somewhere here. If not, we could probably just remove it because I don't know what the use of it is now. Oh no, we are using it here. Okay. Cool. Okay, we're all set up with this page. Obviously, it looks terrible. I have to log out to see it again, but you don't need to see how terrible it looks. You saw it. In the meantime, before now, the next lesson, I will finish up this page here, get it looking actually pretty, build out that student dashboard and the courses, and then we'll go over that in the next lesson. This gives you enough of a gist of what goes on in the front end. Not going into like how to set up ShadCN, Tailwind in specific files or anything like that, but we can definitely do that at some point. So just for now, we'll end this video. Thank you for following along, And in the next one, have all this set up. Just follow along in the GitHub repo. There's always a lot of changes that we do after the video. In the next video, we're going to set up some analytics and stuff, so that's going to be really cool. So thanks for following along. Appreciate you. Make sure to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.